My friend came out to California this last week, spent a few days out here, and it was kind of like an art meetup. I was helping him get to some really amazing locations to shoot some drone footage for his production company, and he was helping me play test my Dungeon Crawl board game. So we both got a lot out of it. It was a very productive trip. We got some amazing footage. Uh, Drone footage of the California coast and Sonoma wine country, and we did a lot of playtesting for the board game, and I took copious notes. So I'm gonna share the first playthrough of the board game ever, but you really need to take it with a grain of salt because there were just a lot of rules that weren't figured out or even written yet, and we were playing it double multiplayer, and it's really kind of a solitaire game. But after the playtest, I went through and started organizing all the components and all the mechanics and really kind of taking the whole game design to the next level. And so the next set of playthroughs I do hopefully will reflect all the changes that I made after these first playtests. But you know, the relics and the artifacts, they didn't really connect to the tiles or to the monsters at all. So one of the huge improvements that's going to take place now is that relics, artifacts, power items, they're all going to relate to specific monster types. They're all going to relate to specific location types, and they're going to have a purpose, and they're all going to relate to each other. Like certain power items will have certain effects on certain relics, and certain relics will have certain effects on certain artifacts. So there's going to be kind of a circular relationship between all the different item types, and maybe even some of the town items like equipment, arcana, weapons, that kind of stuff. I'm also getting the stacking of the tiles dialed in, so you're not going to get weird issues where you draw a tile and you can't place it. I think I've got the formula really dialed in for that. Like the number of terminus tiles is going to equal one hub tile plus the number of junctions plus two. And if there is no hub, it's terminus equals junction plus one. So that'll all be spelled out in the rules. It'll make a lot more sense. This is actually a schematic map I made of game one after we finished it, just to get an idea of like how big it was. It was a nice sized dungeon, so this might be a good case study for like how you would stack like a normal game, not a big game or a small game, but like kind of a normal game. Here I'm starting to break down the specific relics, specific artifacts. I'm going to write specific instructions for each and write the relationships between the different item types and what map tiles they affect. Like the dark skull is going to allow you to pass through tiles with skulls on them without triggering the traps. So, you know, that's an example of how a relic is going to affect the map tiles and sort of unlock certain map tiles for you. Whereas if you don't have the dark skull, you're going to have to roll to see if you set off traps, like at the skull junction and the hall of skulls, that type of thing. The dark skull is also going to be connected to the necromancer. So, you know, either the necromancer is going to be after the dark skull, or you need the dark skull to defeat the necromancer, or it's going to give you a leg up. And so I'm just kind of like I'm crunching data right now, and I'm just taking all this information. I'm also working on the quest system. So it's going to be kind of a procedural quest system. You know, you're going to either find, take, destroy, trap, rescue, or give something. And then there's going to be like a second part, like at, to, with, from, or to, and then B. And so A is either going to be like an item, monster, NPC. B is going to be a location or a tile feature or an item. And so I'm going to have this algorithm that's going to make it really easy to sort of figure out what the quest is. And maybe you figure out what the quest is in town before you go in. So this is all stuff that does not exist in the first playthrough that I did with Jeff. This is stuff that we figured out during the playthrough, and now I'm implementing for the next set of playthroughs. Every single tile is going to have something that makes it unique from other tiles. One thing I hate about dungeon crawls is that it doesn't really matter. A tile is just a tile, and you're just wandering from square to square. This game is going to be like, there's going to be the gap, there's going to be the eternal fountains with tentacles. There's going to be the Skull Junction and the Hall of Skulls, and there's going to be the Grand Crypt, and there's going to be bone piles on certain tiles, and the bone piles can be reanimated by the Necromancer and become skeleton warriors. And so now I'm working on what specifically makes each tile different from every other tile, and what kind of items will have what kind of effects on what tiles, and what kind of monsters will have what kind of effects on what item and what tile, blah, blah, blah. I'm also breaking the monster types down. I purged a few of the monsters from the starter set. So the starter set's going to have fewer than 56 monsters. It's going to have more like 40, I think. But there are actually just too many monsters, which is kind of a good problem to have. I can always release an expansion and double the amount of monsters, but I want to make the game manageable and playable. But now I'm breaking down the different monster types. There's wandering monsters, and then there's like groups and gangs, like giant bats and rats and lizard men and frogmen and goblins and the goblin chief. And then there's like the apex predators, like the old worm, the dragon, the spider queen, the necromancer. And then there's demons, which aren't quite like apex predators, but they just wreak havoc and chaos. And you really need dark relics to help defeat demons, that kind of thing. That's also going to work a little bit on NPCs, and I'm working. Oh, and then there's a group of monsters that are just like environmental hazards, like sludge, tendrils, tentacles, slime. These are things that just sort of exist in the environment. Flesh pile, monolith, noxious gas, but don't really fit into these other groups. And then I was working on this idea of warning shits, like bone piles will convert to skeleton warriors under certain circumstances. Rotting corpses will convert to zombies, under certain circumstances. Web tangles will convert to spiders, spiderlings, and the flesh pile will convert to I forget what, but you get the gist. And yeah, here I was working on some flow. And then threat level, I may do away with tables and just have a threat roll for those. Just make it super simple. But, we talked a lot about whether it should be level-based. I mean, should we have level-based monsters, level-based characters? I like the idea of item-based progression instead of abstract levels for characters. And then for monsters, I don't really want necessarily the dungeon crawls to be level-based. I like the idea that there is a threat level, and you're more likely to find stairs and locked doors and wizard locked doors the farther down you go. So if I am going to level gate monsters, I may just level gate the apex predators. So maybe you wouldn't stumble onto the dragon or the necromancer at threat level 1, but you could stumble onto a mind eater or a tormentor at threat level 1. Because I want some things just to be way too hard. I don't really want to play balance the difficulty. I want some very difficult things to force you to flee early on, and maybe there's some easy things later on that you can just cut your way through, but maybe not trigger the boss until you're pretty deep into the dungeon. It would be weird if you drew the necromancer at threat level 1, 2 tiles in. So I think that's what I'm going to do. Level gate the bosses, but nothing else. Anyways, I'm going to show a little bit of footage of our search for good drone footage, because I just think it was beautiful and fun, and I want to share it. And then I'm going to share the first playthrough of this dungeon crawl board game that doesn't really have a name yet, maybe Swords of Solace. Yeah, so Malik and Brahm, Malik the sorcerer and Brahm the barbarian, have they met each other in town at a bar and decided to search for the lost tomb. And they, after a couple days' journey, arrive at the entrance to the lost tomb. And what they see is a great stone edifice in the wall in the side of a hill with a staircase leading down into the tomb. And so we place both characters like on the starting spaces for this quest. So yeah, spells. Yeah. So I'd say we just wing it, see what happens.
Yeah.
So let's say you go first. And we already have something we have to decide here. So originally I was going to have movement based on agility. So each character can move up to their agility stat worth of spaces each turn. You have a pretty low agility, so you can only move 3 spaces per turn. And Brahm can move 6 spaces per turn. So Brahm's like twice as fast as you are.
So you'll just slow down for me then,
yeah.
if we stick together.
Yeah, we'll stick together.
Do you gain extra abilities since you are halving your speed?
No.
Can you reinvest that?
No.
You can check for traps or
you
something?
You have to eat it.
Okay, so can I can obviously see. I don't need a torch or anything like that.
Well, you have so that's the other thing. We both have a torch.
Mm-hmm.
Now, one of us should be using our torch, and the other one should not. So who wants to carry the torch?
You should carry it.
So the battle hammer is a one-handed weapon, so I can carry a torch in my other hand.
So I think I'm just gonna move and try to get to the door.
And you have 2 actions, so you can move twice. So yeah, you can.
Okay, well I'm gonna go to the door, then I'm gonna try the door. My agility is 3.
So you can move 3 spaces, and you cannot move diagonally.
That was 3 spaces. That's 2 spaces.
2 spaces. Okay, so that's your first action is to move, and your second action you're gonna try that door.
Yeah.
There's 3 states that a door can be: unlocked, locked, and wizard locked. So at threat level 6, it's either gonna be locked or wizard locked. And then, but at threat level 1, it's gonna be more like 1 through 3 is unlocked, and 4 through 6 is locked. And it wouldn't be wizard locked. You want it to sort of step up. So we'll just figure that out as we go. But for now, we're at threat level 1. So now it's my turn. So you moved, and then you checked the door.
Yeah.
The door was locked, and you're like, "Hey, dude." So then I move. 1, 2, 3. Actually, I can't exist in the same space as you.
What?
Or maybe I can.
You should be able to.
You think so?
Oh yeah, you gotta carry people. You gotta
Or maybe there's a rule that lets you swap. Maybe you can friendly bump.
Friendly bump. Interesting.
Try to bust the door down, which is a might test. My might is 6 though, which is it's almost a guaranteed. So I roll a die. 6. Plus my might is 6, so that's 12.
So you blast that door.
Yeah, the door is just is destroyed off its hinges.
Got it.
And that's the end of turn 1.
Okay.
So we entered the tomb, we broke down the door, and now we're looking into the passage beyond.
Nice.
Okay, turn 2. It's your go.
Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and move through the door. I have agility of 3, so I'm gonna go 1. I can't go through you though.
You can friendly.
And it counts me a turn.
No, actually, you can go through. You just can't end on the same.
Did you just make that up?
You can. No, that was in the rules. You can pass
2,
through.
and it can't go this way.
Right.
Okay. 3.
Yeah.
Do I get to see now, or do I have to wait?
Yeah. So that was your first action, and then for your second action, if you're sitting on a space at the edge of the map tile in a passage that continues, but there is no map tile to continue onto, perform an explore action to add a new map tile to the map. Draw a random map tile from the deck of map tiles and place it so that the passage connects to the existing tile properly.
Okay, so let me.
So
are you doing
explore.
it? So And then I can place it any which way.
You can place it any which way as long as it connects properly.
So there's only one way to do that.
And that's a dead end, yeah.
So we were stuck with a dead end for this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so we just placed the Lost Crypt tile because Malix, the sorcerer, is exploring. And since there's a black diamond here on this tile, we placed a discovery token on the black diamond. And now we sort of have an objective. Like we sense that there's something to be discovered here, but we don't know what it is, but we probably want to head toward it.
So this is an unknown.
That's an unknown discovery.
If I flip it over, is it something?
No.
Okay.
When we reach it,
you roll.
We can decide if we want to search, and if the search is successful, then we figure out like which chip pool to draw from. It could end up being treasure, artifacts, or relics. It could be an item left over from some like parish adventurer, or it could be a monster encounter.
All right, tell me what you decided here.
Yeah, so I think you placed a new tile. So let's roll to see if there's monsters.
We already
it depends on the threat level. So since the threat level's 1, if you roll 1, monsters will appear. If the threat level's 2, if you roll 1 or 2, monsters will appear. And so as you descend deeper and deeper into the tombs, there's a greater and greater chance that monsters are going to appear.
But let me get this straight. Do you have to touch this token before they appear?
No.
So as soon as you get into this whole tile, well, first of all,
they're going to smell you and they're going to start coming after you.
That's you, because it's your turn.
Yeah, but you were the one that discovered the tile.
No. Okay, I'll roll it. So it's a 1.
So there are monsters. All right.
Drawing. So you're supposed to draw a random monster?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I've never seen these monsters, so it's going to be random. So I have a mind eater for our very first. I'm not sure, man, if the gameplay is balanced yet.
It's definitely not.
I drew a mind eater in the very first one.
So place the mind eater on the discovery token.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna...
You're like looking to see how many mind eaters are there?
No, I just have to like pull out the behavior card for the mind eater. So every time you reach the edge of a tile, you can use an action to explore a new tile. And when you do that, you draw a tile at random, you place it on the board, and then you have to roll to see if the new tile is inhabited by monsters. And so at a threat level 1, which is where we're at now because we just started the game, you roll a 1d6, and if you roll a 1, then this tile is inhabited by monsters.
But that's not a first level threat as a mind eater. Like you don't
Right.
have classes of monsters.
Yeah, well, I haven't gotten that far yet. So right now we just have to like...
They're all in one big batch.
Right now they're all in one big batch.
Would you like color code them? Like, well...
Yeah, at some point I might...
Threat level 1 is all the gray monsters.
Well,
level 2 is all the blue monsters.
Part of me thinks that the monsters should have levels. And part of me thinks that like...
Sometimes you just get fucked.
Sometimes you just need to run and not fight.
Okay, well, just run.
The thing is, like, you don't have to fight this thing. You can try to escape it. And if I hadn't have, like, blasted the door off the lock, like, if I hadn't have broken the door down, if the door was unlocked, we could have just opened it. Or if we had a key, we could have just unlocked it.
Well, maybe he's still asleep. Let's run.
Right.
Do we have to roll for his behavior?
Yeah. So let's see what the Mind Eater says. Blacker than the void. Older than pain. It starts with a voice. Each turn, all units on the same tile take 2d6 psychological damage. Only magic can defeat the Mind Eater. So you could actually wage magical warfare on it.
I'm like a first level mage.
Right, but right now we don't really have levels. So right now you can use any spell you want, but it damages you to use spells.
But it's not coming after me yet, so
it's not coming after you yet. And actually, it doesn't say that it's not a stalker, so it probably won't chase us. So basically, if we want that discovery item, we have to face the Mind Eater, or we can bail and go the other way. So that's why we have options.
All right. Well, I vote we just turn around. I
Yeah.
mean, but it's like up to you because it's your turn.
Well, I can't do shit to the Mind Eater because I don't have any magic. So it's really the magic user's decision. Also, another question, designer question. Should we know this is a Mind Eater? Or should we just know that we hear something? Should this be a generic monster counter until we see it?
I think the gameplays can get really hard if you have blind corners and discovery of the monsters. I think it should be like one of those
keep it meta.
fog of war scenarios where it just appears.
Like we're doing it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's all one. It's like
Keep it kind of meta.
it's like a 16 tile reveal, and
Right.
then everything happens, and we have an advantage over the monsters because they don't automatically come after us sometimes.
And we can hear it and we can feel it in our brains. So you're probably, I mean, metaphorically, the magic user's like, shit, I feel it. It's a Mind Eater. So that was your second turn. You explored. You saw the Lost Crypt. You feel that there's a Mind Eater. And it's up to you, since you're the only magic user in the group, if you want to confront it or if you want to bail.
I say we just.
Okay. So on my turn, so it's my turn, and I would just go.
You can stroll in there.
I would go to this doorway, and then I will like check. I'll do a door check.
2.
2, it's unlocked, so I can just open it.
Based on the new table.
The question is, should that be part of movement? I should be able to move, open an unlocked door and keep moving, right?
Yeah, I would think so.
Okay.
So I'm at 1, 2, 3. I'm just with you. I can't even bump you. Okay. And then the second one.
Now, if either one of us would have entered this tile, then we would have taken like 2d6 damage because of the Mind Eater. But
If we would have landed, if we went inside here.
Yeah, but we never went in there, which is why we didn't take damage.
Nope.
Because each turn, all units on the same tile take 2d6 sanity damage.
This is considered tile. It's not one of these. It's this entire.
Yeah, so this is a space, and this is a tile.
Okay.
Now, if this monster behavior was like territorial or stalker or like predatorial, then it would start chasing us. But the Mind Eater is not territorial or a stalker, so it's just going to sit there and basically guard that discovery. You know what I mean? But if this
can have it.
If this was like an ogre, it would probably be coming after us right now, and we'd have to like either run or fight it.
Do you have to break that door down? You broke that door down.
Which one?
The first door.
It was locked. We rolled and it was locked.
I get it. And you're gonna blast it.
The only way to get through it without a key would be
Break it
to
down.
basically bust it down.
Okay, that makes sense. So now you move and discover.
Yeah. So for turn 3, you moved, and then so that's my first action.
Mm-hmm.
And then for my second action, I'm exploring.
Yeah.
So first we place the tile.
Now you have to, since you don't have your staircases baked into these yet.
Right.
You need to figure out if there's a staircase.
Yeah,
there.
so we roll for stairs. On a 1, there's a staircase. So there's a staircase. You can't place a terminus that ends the dungeon if there are cards left. So
Okay.
this we can't place. We put this at the bottom. We draw another. That's another terminus, so we can't place it. We draw another. This one goes through, so we can place it.
Okay.
So I can place this card like this, or I can place it like that.
It doesn't matter. You can
No,
do
it doesn't
whatever.
matter. So I'm just going to place it like this. Now, so then I rolled a 1 for stairs, so there is a staircase.
Okay.
So we place a staircase right here.
Oh, joining the two.
Yeah, I mean, eventually it'll be placed like on a tile.
It'll be baked in.
It'll be baked into the tile, or it'll be placed on a space but baked into the tile. But for now, we're going to put it in between.
And then you do this over here.
Yeah, so the threat level goes up to 2 since we're going down that staircase.
Okay.
And then we place discovery tokens here and here.
Because of the diamonds.
Yeah, because of the diamonds. So this tile has 2 possible discoveries. And then here there's a door. So we place a door. So I'm gonna place a door.
What's the door? It's the
It's a
circle.
little lock
Okay.
icon there, which I can make better future iterations. So a lot happened here.
The door is always on a line. Maybe you can make the line a different kind of line, like an architecture line.
Yeah, I need to work on the iconography.
You should jot those down.
Oh, and then monster.
Yeah, you need to roll for monsters.
So threat level 2. So on a 1 or a 2.
Jeez. Okay.
So now we have another monster to deal with. Feral child.
Feral child. What a pleasant place to be.
Now, it's going to be placed on one of these 2 spaces. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Wait, why 6?
Just like randomly deciding which place.
Oh, okay. 50-50.
So it's in here. So the feral child is in there.
What's its actions? Once you pull the card out?
Let's find out. Yeah, I think I made too many monsters.
It's pretty cool, though.
It's almost unwieldy.
To have that many monsters is pretty neat. It's not going to get boring.
I don't think any game has ever done this.
That many monsters.
I've ever seen. There's a lot of monsters. Alright, so the feral child.
Weird.
Little ones ventured beyond the wall, never to be seen again, lost to the wild. We're not in the same room with her yet, but when we do enter the same room with her...
Where's it going to be her?
It could be a him.
Roll for it.
We'll smirk, she'll smirk, and there's a 1/3 chance that she'll activate, and then she could scratch, kick, or bite, and she also can run and hide.
Okay.
So she's not super dangerous, but she can do a little bit of damage. There's also the potential that you can like manipulate or persuade her, or I think there was going to be this sense that you could like get her back to town and take her back to like the village, but I haven't like fully fleshed that out yet. So we could play with that. But anyway, I think it's your turn.
So for
threat locked would be 3 through 5, and wizard locked would be 6. I'm just slowly shifting it.
All right. So because there's a door, and we're threat level 2. Okay, I'm gonna try that. 4.
So it's locked.
All right.
Was that your second action?
That was my second action, to try that door.
It's a might test to kick down a door. And I rolled high again. So my might is 6 plus 6. That's 12.
No problem.
Yeah, no problem. So I don't just like bust it open. I basically destroy it.
Yeah.
And that's
Is that a table? Or is it just like...
Yeah, it should be. It's not, but it should be.
You should write a note about that.
So you finished your turn, and then I finished my turn. So that's the end of a round. But now the feral child gets their turn, and the mind eater. The mind eater doesn't do anything. They just sit there.
Okay.
But the feral child, their unactivated action is to smirk.
Okay.
So I basically look into that room, and the feral child is just smirking at me in the corner. And then she has I roll a 1d6, and on a 1 or 2, she activates. So she doesn't do anything. She just sits there and smirks at me.
No, it's not creepy.
Right. Really creepy.
Okay, so that's
Her turn.
Yeah.
Done. My turn again.
Right.
And I'm going to go ahead and... How do I get over a pit?
So you can use a spell, shield, float, avoid traps, navigate holes. All right. So each spell needs to cost some damage to you.
Mm-hmm.
Should a float spell cost health, sanity, or will?
Will.
Okay. And how many?
The number of cells you have to float on
Oh yeah.
should be... Are there levels for these characters?
Not really. They're item based. The levels are item based. So if you get more powerful items, you're just stronger.
Okay, well then each one of these... items.
So you're floating over 2 spaces, so it should cost you 2 points of will.
And if I get 0 will, I'm dead?
Yeah. If any of your stats reach 0, you die.
I don't see will on here.
That's 12.
Oh, I'm plenty of will.
So your will goes down 2 points. 1, 2. You have special abilities here. You can spend will to do these things.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I floated over.
So you're just like bypassing the feral child.
So 1 is my move,
Mm-hmm.
and then my next move is to use my will to get over, and I'm done.
Okay. And so now it's my turn,
Mm-hmm.
and the torchlight burns down 1. So the way I was thinking about non-magic users getting over gaps is they have to do an agility test.
Yeah.
And so maybe the size of the gap. So I think I would roll my agility, but I have to subtract the number of spaces of the gap.
Okay.
Or something.
That's not bad.
So like I have an agility 6.
All these are up to 6, right?
Yeah, 1 to 6.
So if you rolled, so automatically it's guaranteed because it's a 6 already.
Minus 2 though.
Minus 2, so that's 4. So you have to roll 2 or better.
Right.
So you're dead.
Well, or I'm in the pit and I take damage. There should be some sort of like clarification on what happens. I don't know what happens if you fall in the pit. You know,
Mm-hmm.
like I don't know if you're just dead or if I'm down there and I need to be able to climb back out.
It's a good thing we're playing this.
Here, I wrote a whole section on gaps. Let's read it because I didn't remember writing this. A gap is a space that drops in elevation precipitously from the tunnel or chamber around it. Gaps are assumed to be deeper than is possible to climb out of. Gap spaces are indicated by a small red X.
Which you should know you don't have. Put your red X's.
Pit, red X. You cannot step onto gaps, but can attempt to jump over or traverse single space gaps with rope. Gaps wider than a single space cannot be traversed. To jump a single space gap from a space on one side to a space on the other costs 1 action. Test agility. On success, move the character to the target landing space on the opposite side of the gap. On fail, the character dangles by 1 hand on the far side of the gap. Test might. So technically...
You couldn't even go over that because it's a 2 space.
Yeah, but I wasn't really thinking about that when I drew that. I think that he's dangling. On fail, the character dangles by 1 hand. Test might. On success, the character pulls themselves up to the far side of the gap. On fail, they fall into the gap, never to be seen again. So the dangling by 1 hand is like your one chance to save your ass, you know? What do you think?
That's like Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition. You have like death rolls.
Really?
Yeah, and you roll consecutive saves. And it's either yes or no. And if you get enough yeses, you get out. And if you get enough no's, you die. Except for perfect 20s, I guess. Which
You like it? No.
just blowed it. So
To traverse
this is, you should write a note that you need to take off the double squared
right.
pits.
But with your spell, you should still be able to float over it.
Yeah. Because why else would you have a float spell?
But what would I do at this point? Let's say I was playing this game alone as the barbarian. The game's just over. I have to go out.
This cell is misdrawn.
Right.
So it's just a tile error.
I should just be like, no double gaps.
Yeah.
Or maybe with a rope you can do double gaps, but without a rope you can't. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Like maybe you would just have to have a rope item to cross this.
Okay. Like a whip.
Because there is a rope, but you'd have to go back to town and buy a rope and then come back, you know? But my might is 6, so I automatically pass it.
Okay, so you're never in risk.
The barbarian's not, but everyone else is.
Okay, because you have a might of 6.
Because he has a might and an agility of 6.
Okay.
But he's pretty low in everything else. Actually, he's got maxed out might, agility, and stealth, but really low knowledge, psyche, and belief. So he's just really lopsided. Very physical, but no mental characteristics to speak of.
Okay.
So he flails himself across the pit, doesn't make the jump. He's dangling by one hand, but he has a might of 6, so he's able to pull himself out. Now the problem is he's going to friendly bump you. I think the friendly bump thing is a problem.
Yeah, I do too. I think you should be able to coexist in a cell.
Okay. Yeah, probably. Because that's kind of a problem every turn. Okay.
Okay, so we have something called a 100 gold.
Oh, actually, I think I decided that is that the treasure chest? I was gonna change that. It's not 100 gold.
No.
It's a chest, but inside it is maybe 1d3 more objects.
Okay.
But you have to roll to see if the chest is unlocked, locked, or wizard locked.
Okay.
So that was your first action, was discovering the chest.
Yeah.
And so your second action, you can try to open it, or you can just stow it. But it's a heavy object, and you only have a medium, a light, and a light. You cannot even lift it; it's too heavy for you. So
I should just open it.
the barbarian can carry it though.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and try to open it.
Okay. So you roll on the lock. You roll for locks. That's not really a door. That's a lock.
Okay. Door slash.
And
lock.
it's a threat level 2.
Threat level 2. I got a 5.
It's locked. So you can try to bust it open. But also, you know what?
I'm gonna use my spell.
You have an unlock spell that will open any. This is adjacent door, but it should be adjacent lock.
Are you gonna go through that book?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna rewrite this whole thing.
And my will's gonna go down by how many?
That's another question.
Well, it's heavy, so that'd be 3.
Right. So.
If it was light, it would be 1.
Um,
Unless it was magic locked.
yeah. There needs to
Okay.
be like a simple.
Yeah, it gets complicated. This is 3, right? 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
Can you tell whose is who now?
You're blue and I'm red. or
Okay,
pink.
got it. Okay, so
Oh, but you did open it.
yep.
So now you draw. How many items? It's heavy, so let's say 3 items. 2 items. I don't know.
What about my 100 gold, man?
Nah, I wanted the chest to contain more items. I think that's cooler
Okay, so
than just like 100 gold.
3. Let's just do 1, 2, or 3. If it's light, it's 1. If it's 2,
Okay.
if it's medium, it's 2. So it's 3. I have 3 items in my hand here. Item 1 is a medium scroll. MD scroll. Whatever that means. It looks like a
Oh, it's a medicine scroll.
plus a L and a HM.
Hell, it's a light item. It restores health.
Oh, perfect. Okay, so that's number 1. Number 2 that I have is a dark stone,
That's a relic.
which is heavy.
Right, so I'd have to carry that for you.
And number 3 is poison, which is light.
That's a poison potion.
Poison potion. How do I know it's potion? Because it's in a potion bag?
Yeah, it's just a
Or-
potion bottle.
Potion bottle?
Yeah.
Okay, so how do I put these on my counter?
So you're actually all filled up right now because you can't really carry that much. So you'd have to give them to me.
Oh, I see how it is. Okay, so what is this scroll restore health?
Yeah, but
Where's-
your health is fine though. You can't restore any more health because you're maxed out for health.
And what does this one do?
I don't know.
I think
I think an elixir should restore any of your stats to full if you drink it.
I'm gonna just drink it,
You're gonna drink it? Okay.
just to get rid of it.
So your will goes back up to 12.
Yeah,
Okay.
and that's the only one, right?
Yeah.
Is this the will one?
Yeah.
Okay. So I drank this one.
So elixir restores
And then
any stat
it's actually more powerful.
to max.
Okay, and then I'm gonna take on the health scroll. Darkstone you can carry, and the poison. What does this mean?
You can carry something in your hand. So you could move your torch to like your hand and then put that other one there.
But it's not lit.
Right.
Okay, let's just
you're
do
just
that.
carrying an unlit torch basically. When you light it, you have to move it to here.
Okay. And then I'll leave this for you.
Okay. But it's so we take the discovery token off because you've discovered it.
Mm-hmm.
And then you left the dark stone. So you discovered a chest. You opened it with magic. Scroll and a poison you collected, and then you left the dark stone. Where was I? I was dangling here, and you are here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Is that it?
Yeah, it's
For
a
your
lot.
turn? But now it's my turn. I'm going to use one action to come here on your cell, and I'm going to use my second action to pick up the dark stone and carry it.
Yeah. Okay, so I think occupying spaces, what happens when two players are in the same space is a problem. Monster reveals is a problem. It makes sense that you can't carry too much, so that's cool. Choosing how to use your stats, like what the spells take off from your stats, or which stat. I think that's just something you have to work out. I think the monster reveal is like the big issue. The monster reveal and the space occupying are the two big ones. What do you think?
Yeah, I think the coexisting in the same space is almost a must because it was just getting too clogged without it.
Mm-hmm.
And just the movement rules are way too complicated if you can't coexist in the same space with an ally. There's nothing that bugs me yet about the monsters. It just so happens that both of the monsters we've discovered don't chase you. They're just hanging out, so that kind of makes sense. If we had goblins chasing us through the dungeon, this would be a very different game.
Yeah.
We haven't had to fight anybody yet, but I want this game to be more about exploration than combat. So I kind of like that we haven't had to engage in combat yet.
Mm-hmm.
To me, that's like a win. So.
Okay. So.
And it can't be a terminus. That's a terminus.
Definite terminus.
So this is the first non-terminus card. So you place this card.
Okay, so let's just do it this way.
And that's the fire junction. So there's like this weird sort of fire, which would do something, I don't know what, like randomly shoot out like fireballs or something.
Wild. And there's no doors, so I can't do anything. I did my explore. I kind of think you should just keep going.
Well, all right, so roll for stairs. So on a 1 or 2.
3.
All right, so no staircase. That's good, right?
Yeah.
There's no doors.
But why can't the stairs be going up?
I mean, they could, but the idea is that you're slowly going farther and deeper.
Always.
From the entrance, you're going deep, deep, deep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which means there can't be two entrances.
Right, unless the other entrance like pops out lower on the other side of the mountain, you know.
Okay. Okay, so that's my move. I'm done.
Okay, and there's no discovery tokens here too, because this is just a junction. It's not an actual like chamber. So then for my turn, I move my torch down. So since the threat level's 2, and this is the fire junction, the idea is that there would be a special rule for this tile, that there would be a fireball that shoots on a 1 or a 2. So I finish my movement, I rolled a 5, so no fireball shoots out.
Okay.
But if you finished your movement, you wouldn't want to finish your movement in any one of these spots, because if you roll a 1 or a 2, you know, the fireball would hit you and you would take damage.
Oh, wow.
So
Okay.
it's kind of like Indiana Jonesy.
Yeah.
And I think that'd be like cool.
Yeah. I think building in some sort of pitfalls.
All right, so I explore. I draw the catacombs. The catacombs is a hub. It's got like 4 different exits. So I roll for stairs. No
6.
stairs. And there's no doors, but there's 2 discovery tokens. There and there. And there's potentially secret rooms here and here.
Okay.
So you can search for secret rooms if you're in any corridor adjacent to this. Any space adjacent to this space, you can search. I don't know what happens if you find a secret room. I haven't really figured that out. But I think that's it for me.
Okay. So I'm going to do my 1, 2, and then 3 right in the fireball path.
So you roll, and on a 1 or a 2, fireball hits you.
6. 4.
Okay, so no fireballs.
Okay.
That's your first action.
And then the second one, I'm going to go ahead and go 1, 2, and 3.
Okay.
What do you think?
So we've been wrestling with how to spawn monsters, and we've tried a few different solutions. And right now we're talking about just keeping it very simple. When you explore a new tile and you place the discovery tokens, each discovery token could potentially be a spawn point for a monster. And so you basically do a threat roll. So at threat level 2, on a roll of a 1 or a 2, you would spawn a monster. There's 2 discovery tokens here, so you'd have to do a threat roll for each one of these discovery tokens to see if it spawns a monster. And that seems to be like the most cut and dry way to do it. We also talked about making doors spawn points and or staircases spawn points.
I would probably just stick to the tokens. How many monsters do you want? Could be a lot of monsters.
Right. Not too many. I think discovery tokens are enough.
I do too.
Really, because some of these monsters will kill you.
I know.
Immediately.
I think you gotta balance this.
If you spawn a dragon, you're kind of fucked.
Let's roll it.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm rolling for monsters. We have 2 of these, so we're rolling 2 dice.
We're good.
Good, because we're at threat level 2.
Yeah.
Nothing there. I'm done with
Okay.
my turn.
Yeah. All right. So it's my turn. All right. So I'm gonna decrement the torch. I'm down to 14 torch. And then I can move 6. So I'm just gonna like 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm gonna go there. And then for my second action, I'm gonna
Flip it.
I find the lost chalice. It's a medium weight object. And this little crown here means that like it's kind of priceless. Like you can basically only return it to the castle. You can't really sell it.
Okay.
You can try to sell it, but you'll become an outlaw if you do.
Okay.
You pretty much have to return it to the king, and then the king will give you like a special gift. So I can carry this. I have space for it.
Cool.
So I found the lost chalice, and now I'm loaded. Well, I could also move my battle hammer to my hand. I could carry my battle hammer, and then I still have another heavy slot.
Oh, I can't just go there. I have to go around.
Actually, you could cast a spell. There's a walk-through wall. There's a through spell. You can walk through any solid material at the cost of normal movement for 1 turn.
Okay, so I'm going to go 1, and then I'm going to cast a spell to go here.
But
what does that cost me?
So I think that should be physical damage, walking through objects.
Yeah.
1d6.
It costs 1d6?
I don't know, I just made that up.
Okay.
I feel like it should...
Yeah, it's
that
pretty
would be
heavy.
really hard, right?
Of what? Physical health?
Physical health.
So 1.
Okay.
So I lost 1 point.
So this is your health. So it goes from 7 to 6.
Okay.
All right. So I moved 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I explored. In theory, there would be a special rule for this skull at the junction, and it might do a thing, but I don't have that figured out yet. So I like the idea that like specific tiles have specific features, and the goal was that every tile had some unique feature.
You should bake that on the map because each of these seem to be right next to a null or empty skull or square. Just have the words of like what that does right on the map.
Yeah, I think so too.
And then you can also have like the pits. If you have a pit, you could have words of what kind of pit that is on the map too. Just to take away extra things you need.
I agree. Now, and I like the idea that like, okay, this tile has a pit. That's a special feature. This tile has the fireballs.
Mm-hmm.
This tile has secret chambers. This tile has the skull junction. This tile has the pool.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm trying to make it so every tile has some unique, interesting thing.
So now I have to go all the way around. It's gonna take me forever, man.
Or you can spell. You can do the through spell. It costs
1d6
health.
2, 3. I'm gonna go up there.
All right. So you're exploring.
And I'm gonna roll for stairs. 1. I got stairs.
Okay. So the threat level goes up to 3.
So it doesn't matter. And I'll choose from the bottom.
So many monsters, dude.
This is the Mud Man. I remember you drawing the Mud Man. I like the Mud Man. That was the one you called Scooby-Doo.
I didn't call it that. I think Jason did.
Yeah,
I
he
went to
did.
the restroom and I came back and you guys were talking about Scooby-Doo Mud Man.
You see this Mud Man? That's the good Mud Man. Okay, so Mud Man is on that guy.
Jeff, your Mud Man is good.
I like my Mud Man. He was Scooby-Doo, but
I like
Scooby-Doo rocks. So.
I like your Mud Man. It's just we needed Lizard Man at the moment. That was my only beat. When man crawled from the mud, some remained.
I love that. So we have a mud monster problem, and we're separated. We have 2 torches going, and I'm done, right?
Okay. We just rolled sludge, so a black tar oozes up from the cracks in the ground, bubbling, belching. And then it has different behaviors. Rising, the sludge can spread to adjacent spaces. Splatter is a might attack, and it does 1d6 damage. It can glom onto you, and once you're glommed, you have to do a might test to free yourself from it. And it can consume you. If you're glommed, it does 2d6 damage. So the sludge is actually like very dangerous. Only freeze magic can damage or stop the sludge. Fire converts sludge to a noxious gas.
Okay, so I move forward 1, and then I try the door. And the threat level 3, the door is hardness of, let's see, 4.
It's locked.
So it's a 4 on the lock. Can I bust it open?
You can use a spell to unlock it.
Why? Because my might isn't strong enough?
You can try to bust it open, but your might is 2.
Can I try that first?
Basically.
Nope.
Okay.
Okay, now I'm going to use the spell.
Okay.
No, open the door.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to turn it sideways here.
Right.
And then I can keep going because that was just 1 turn.
Yeah.
So we're saying the doors don't have an action. They aren't taking an action.
Yeah, I'm still in.
I think they should probably take an action.
I kind of feel like it too.
Okay, let's just call it a day.
Like all that stuff you did to the door,
Yeah, it's
that
a
takes
lot.
time.
Yeah, plus if like the monsters have to do stuff, then you need to have time for them to act too. Like if you get up to a locked door.
I feel like navigating a door should be an action. And that can mean like checking the lock,
Yeah.
unlocking it, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. All right, your turn.
Okay. I can't actually do anything to, like, you can't take a battle hammer to sludge.
Mm-mm.
It doesn't work. So, like, I'm going to abort. There's nothing I can do here.
Come back and find me.
And it can hurt me.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do 2 actions. I'm going to do 1, 2. 5, 6. First action.
Mm-hmm.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Second action.
It's pretty good.
Spread to an adjacent space.
Well, he will never catch up.
Right. So the sludge like spreads to the space. Technically, it's not moving; it's spreading. But I don't have any other tokens. So now the sludge would contain both those spaces.
Oh, that's gonna get really tough to know.
No.
Okay.
Yeah. So maybe, yeah, I don't know. I'll figure that out. And then the mud monster, he's gooping. So on a roll of 1, he activates. It should be a threat level roll, probably. So it'd be like on a 1, 2, or 3, he activates.
Okay.
So he's just gooping. He's not attacking you.
He's like, hey guys, come to spa day.
Right. So now it's your turn. Your torch goes down 1.
Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and how do I kill Mud Monster? Mud Monster.
If there's no special instructions on what you can't do to it, then you can do any kind of attack, really. To test psyche.
Okay, so I have a psyche of 6. I'm gonna try to command with a spell command.
Right.
So I do take command of the Mud Monster. I've taken a damage. Do you want to move my slider? Because I took damage.
Yeah. To your
my what is that?
your sanity, right?
Sanity. That makes sense.
So your sanity goes down to 4.
What can I do with them?
You can move him out of the way. You can basically make the mud monster move somewhere.
Can I make him attack you?
Yeah, you could.
I'm not going to.
I don't know what his speed is. This is all shit that I just don't know.
Can I send him
agility 2? The mud monster can only move 2 spaces.
Can I send him to attack the feral child? I mean, he's really mean. Or the sledge.
It would just take him a long time to get there.
It feels like I'd be able to put a thing in his head and be like, go kill the sludge monster.
Yeah. I think this is just one of those rules that I have no idea like how it should work. It's probably too complicated.
Okay, so I did that. He's out of the way. I'm going to go 1, 2. Is that it? I can use that.
Oh wait, the spell ends if the caster no longer has line of sight on the target.
Okay, well.
So you could in theory keep the mud monster under your control as long as you're within line of sight of it.
Okay, but for now I'm just going to take on this token.
Yeah. And he's under your control now.
Yeah.
And basically, like, if you encounter other monsters, you can have the mud monster attack, like, other monsters.
So he just slows me down a little bit.
Yeah.
Because he's 2 and I'm 3. Okay, give
Slows
me.
you down, that's right. Okay, what do you need?
I just landed on a
Okay.
destiny token. Well, let's continue on.
But also, you're totally filled up, and I will be shortly. So once we're both completely filled up with items,
I'll drink that shit.
then we'd probably, yeah, I guess you could start drinking stuff.
Yeah. And we can occupy the same space. Which makes sense, because if 2 people are fighting, they're going to be on the same square.
Question, should you take damage each turn that you control him?
No.
I feel like as long as he's under your control, he's like...
He's
caught.
mine.
You don't think he's like...
Yeah.
Okay.
It's way cooler this way.
But what if that monster was a dragon?
Super cool that way.
Just like, you spend 1 will and you have total control of a dragon for the rest of the game.
Pretty much. Except he has a really high thing to roll against.
Right.
And I probably wouldn't take control over him.
I think the monsters should all have stats, like the characters, so that you can do like direct, like psyche versus psyche tests. I was hoping to avoid it, but I think monsters need to have stats. Mud monster.
I don't know, man. I've never had Mud Monster before.
This is so weird.
I never knew when you were drawing that character that I ended up commanding him. It didn't occur to me that I'd be riding him.
I don't know. I feel like this game is so half baked right now. I guess I'm gonna keep going. 2, 3, 4, 5.
Did you take your torch down?
Yeah, I just took it down. I'm down to like 9.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually like running into real problems with my torch.
2, 3. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And then that was first action. So I'm going to just move again. 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2. I guess I have to stay here so I can see him. I think overlapping's okay,
As long as it
especially
doesn't,
and you're a different level.
4, 3. Wait. Okay, so that's half my movement. I gotta roll. All right. So we just got. So now we're threat level 6. And then there's a door. There's actually. Let's just place that there. And then there's 2 discoveries. And then I have to roll for monsters.
Mm-hmm.
Threat level 6.
You spawn twice as many monsters.
Actually, threat level 6, monsters just spawn. You know? Because you roll a 6 or less.
Yeah.
So.
That's enough. You don't need to do more than that.
Necromancer.
Oh my god.
And ogre.
Wow, that's a hell of a
So maybe it does work out, you know?
sell.
It's kind of like, yeah, like shit's hitting the fan, threat level 6.
It feels like you're always going to go up a threat level.
Well, just, like the odds of threat level
I know, they
increasing amp up. But look how many tiles we have out. Maybe that's about right.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm almost out of torchlight, so I should be getting the hell out of here right now. Roll of 1 or 2, he activates. Shit. So he either raises the dead or summons undead. 1 through 3 raise dead, but there's no dead to raise. 4 through 6 summon dead. 6. So he summons the dead. Zombies or skeleton warriors. Skeleton warriors. 4 skeleton warriors. God. Normally you would have like 4 counters for skeleton warriors. But he basically just summoned.
Alright, is it my turn?
Yeah, I'm just gonna find the skeleton warrior monster card so I can see like what their movement is and stuff.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and go 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2. I'll keep him with me as long as I can keep him with me, and then I'll touch him.
Alright.
And then my second move, I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2.
Okay, and your torch goes down 1.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and that's it for you?
Mm-hmm.
So do I want to fight the ogre, or do I want to...
Your torch is the problem.
Right. And I have to go down. I only have 7 turns left before I'm completely in the dark. I should run. Don't you think?
Could be.
Alright. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Oh, the stairs count as 1.
Oh, actually, no. Well, in this rule book, you have to use an entire action to go on a stair or something, but it's too complicated.
Yeah, I just have it as a cell.
So that's 1, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then the monsters go, they have a movement of 4. He has a movement of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. The skeleton warriors have a movement of 2. So,
And they're all definitely going to come after you, no matter what.
yeah. Let's just have them sort of like pouring out of here. The necromancer's like,
Is he going to move too?
he'll probably like follow them.
Okay. And then it's my turn. Sludge. He might... No, he won't catch you in time. Okay, so it's my turn. 1, 2. And then... The fireball thing? You know, I didn't land on that.
Yeah, I would worry about it.
You're screwed getting out of here, by the way. 1, gonna go ahead and do my float spell again. What does that cost me to get across? So 2 of these.
So your will goes down by 2.
Yeah, my last thing, I'm gonna go down here, here, and then start my move, right? Because that was a spell. That's probably it. That's probably my.
Yeah.
I'm gonna command him to
And he'll be out of sight after you.
1, 2.
He'll fall. He can't go. He actually can't cross it.
Yeah, that's the point.
Yeah.
He's gonna go down. So he doesn't trap you.
Oh, cool. Oh, you're taking him down.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Thanks,
ditch him for you.
Thanks.
I don't know why I kept him, but
It's kind of fun.
okay.
It'd be handy, like, if you had control of the necromancer or something, or
Yeah,
maybe
I mean,
control of the
really.
skeletons too.
The torch thing, man, you should be able to replenish so you can keep the game going.
The what?
Torch.
Yeah, that's something to consider. Like, yeah, I mean, yeah, it'd be easy to tweak the rules for Torch, but I do like the fact that, like,
You gotta get out.
there's a timer, and I feel like this is about how big I would want the dungeon to be. I don't know if I wanted to go too much bigger, especially if all the different rooms are doing special things.
Cool, do it up, man.
All right, so my torch goes down.
Do you want to just hang out there, or do you want to take on the mud monster?
Well, I have to use an action to equip my battle hammer, so that's my second action. So
Okay.
I'm just gonna do that.
Okay. And then it's my turn?
No, and then it's the monster's turn.
Okay.
So the ogre goes. I'm getting tired. Okay.
So I'm going to go
Torch
ahead
goes down.
and just drop him into the pit.
All right. So mud monster.
He's gone.
Mud monster disappears into the pit.
Yeah. That way you can just jump freely. And I'm going to go ahead and and take on the feral child.
Okay.
Might as well get one last win.
What are you gonna do?
Walk me through what my stats are now.
Your sanity is down to 4. Shit, that was close.
I'd have to back up the
Your
footage.
health is 6, and your will is 10.
Do any of these recoup that? Yeah, I'm gonna use the sanity potion.
And that's an action now.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do that later. Let's go ahead and. What other spells do I have? Because I don't want to blast. I don't want to destroy the chest. Right? Would it destroy the token underneath it?
Blast. All beings within line of sight of the caster immediately take 2d6 health damage. All doors within line of sight are immediately destroyed. So I think it should be any object within
Including the token.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're not going to blast it. What else?
I'm going to say tokens are destroyed.
Yeah,
Don't you think?
definitely.
Burn. No, you don't want to. Any single map tile space within line of sight immediately receives a burning condition.
I feel
You
really
don't want to burn
bad
the token.
burning this little girl up.
Command. I feel like command should be not just 1 sanity, but like 1 d3 or something. It should cost a little more because it's really powerful.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. What else you got?
Fear. They basically just try to run from you.
Let's do that one.
All right.
That should be will. What do I roll for that? Or I just do it?
I think you just do it.
Yeah, okay.
I gotta figure that out. There's like
Write a note for that. That's a big one. Can you figure out what your notes mean later?
yeah, a monster stats will solve that. Like if she had a psyche stat, then you would just do a psyche test, like your psyche against hers or something, to see if it
Okay.
worked. But let's just say it worked.
Okay, so I'm gonna use the fear spell on her. That way I don't have to like hurt her.
So any target will attempt to flee the caster every turn for the duration of the game. So her turn from now on is going to be to move as far away from you as possible.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I want that.
Okay. Forever for the rest of the game.
Maybe I can run her to the Mind Eater and get that one too, if it's after her.
Yeah.
Corral her over there. Okay, so I cast that, and then take me down on the stat for that.
All right. What was that? Will?
Will.
So I'm rolling 2. I have an agility of 6, but -2 is 4. So I have to 4 or less. I make the jump.
Yay.
All right.
Good deal.
So I basically land over here. And am I done? I guess I'm done. I moved and then I jumped.
Yeah, you did your torches.
No, thanks. So I'm down to 5.
You're almost out though.
I'm almost out.
Okay.
And now I'm by you. I don't need to. I can actually deactivate my torch now. So I turn it upside down or whatever.
Yeah.
Wait, that's yours.
We'll have to flip them or something.
Yeah. So I'll turn mine upside down. I put my torch out because I'm using your torchlight now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So now it's Monster's turn.
Okay. So she's gonna move as far away from you as possible. Let's see if she has a. Monsters have only been getting 1 action, but maybe they should get 2. I don't know.
You need stats.
Yeah, I need stats badly. So 1, 2, 3, 4. The ogre's coming. The skeletons are advancing.
It's like a shit show at the end of this game.
I like it. It kind of
They'll
builds,
just come
it
after
builds to
you.
a crescendo though, which is kind of what you want.
Sludge. Are they gonna fight? That's what I want to know.
You couldn't come back in here if you wanted to at this point because there's just like.
Yeah, you closed the whole dungeon down.
I never even fought, which is kind of weird. I don't know, man.
Yeah, it feels like you should fight. You'll move. Oh, I'm gonna get the chest. What the fuck?
Oh right.
So let's figure out what this
So
is.
you would have to move onto it. That's an action.
Okay, so I'm gonna get the chest.
Okay.
And then I got a diamond with an L. What's L mean?
Light. So you could like.
What is her stats on that? Roll for it.
Oh, that's how much it's worth if you get it back to town.
So what I'm doing is trying to keep this diamond by getting rid of something. Well, I'm gonna get rid of the relic because we don't know what the hell it's doing.
Okay.
The relic is useless for this game because it doesn't have rules.
And I have that's on my notes.
Maybe you could put rubber on the bottom of these pieces.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is right here, right?
Yeah. Well, actually.
Yeah, just discard.
Should I just exit?
You should make your way, and then we'll get her moving. Yeah, just stay there.
Okay.
And just skip your spells. Unless you could do a rest phase. Do you have any special abilities?
They're all attack abilities. There is a rest action. I haven't.
Yeah, you didn't.
I haven't taken any damage.
That's a problem. You needed to have more conflict.
I know. I think so too.
Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and call it a day and let her run away.
Okay. So
We'll do the ogres first, right?
2. What do we say for her? 4, 3, 4.
This should say it on there.
She's just running over.
She could have run out of the dungeon. It was on her.
1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe she would.
No. You already did it.
Where are you going?
I was gonna push her towards the mine eater and see if we get that last token.
Oh, okay.
Just, why not?
Right. There's all these tokens too.
I'm not going in there.
Oh, we're supposed to like pull these off. Did you take this one? Did you harvest this?
Yeah.
We're supposed to remove these. This one, the necromancer was on.
Did you get that one?
No, because the sludge is there.
What about this guy?
This is all sludge.
What's the deal with that?
We busted open the chest and took the stuff out of it, but left the chest or something.
Well, you could go ahead and stay there, or you could try to...
I guess I'll just wait because there's really nothing else for me to do.
Okay, so who's turn?
I mean, I'll hang out with you, basically.
Yeah, that's fine.
So then it's her turn.
Mm-hmm.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Poor girl. Just like sending her into the mine eater.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Are these guys gonna rumble?
I don't know. I mean, the sludge doesn't really fight; it just consumes things.
I think they should then. I think you need to have these cards dry erase so you can mark stuff. Sludge.
Yeah. Or there needs to be like 6 sludge tokens or something.
That's so many tokens, man. It's so much easier just to have a dry erase thing.
Yeah, there's so many unanswered questions with this game.
That's what we're doing. As soon as I go in here, I start taking damage, right?
Yeah, the mind eater.
How much?
2d6. So it could kill you actually in one. turn.
Okay, so I'm just gonna get close. 1, 2, and then
You could attack it.
Can I command her? What happens to her?
So she technically is taking 2d6 sanity damage. So she just took 6 points of sanity damage. So the feral child has just gone insane and is basically like unraveled, destroyed by the Mind Eater.
Oh, I feel terrible.
So she's out of the game.
Oh, I killed 2 monsters. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. I'm out.
Okay, and then I'm out too. So that's game over. That was one big heaping pile of craziness.
All right, decompress.
There's a lot to fix.
Yeah, there's a lot to fix.
So that's it. Lots of issues, lots of things that need to be fixed. The monster behaviors need to be tightened up a lot. And the monsters need stats. And I created like a whole list of huge question marks that we have to kind of work through. Even like what kind of actions should actually cost an action point and which ones shouldn't, to kind of help the flow of the game. That needs to be worked out. And if you can continue movement after an exploration, like there's just lots of weird corner cases and caveats that need to be ironed out to make the gameplay go a lot smoother. And I need to more clearly define the features that are contained on the tiles themselves. And yeah, lots and lots to do.